Welcome to AI in L&D Weekly, the show where we skip the hype and actually dig into what matters if you're responsible for learning at work. Ten stories today: funding, tools, academies, and, to be honest, a pretty embarrassing gap between how much leaders talk about AI and how little they're actually investing in skills. So let's get into it. Yoodli raises $40 million for AI roleplay coaching. First up, Yoodli. So Yoodli is an AI communication coaching platform, basically simulated conversations for the hard stuff. Performance reviews, sales calls, leadership presentations, interviews. It listens to what you say, transcribes it, gives you instant feedback on pacing, filler words, clarity, whether you actually answered the question. Universities use it, sales teams use it, L&D functions use it as a safe space to practice without blowing up a real relationship. And this week, they announced a $40 million Series B, total funding now north of $60 million, led by Westbridge Capital, Madrona involved, others. The money's going into deeper role play capabilities, more enterprise features, and scenario content for specific corporate situations. Things like coach a struggling team member or handle an angry customer. Why does this matter? Look, this is experiential learning, but automated. Instead of sending managers off to a 2-day workshop, you give them 20 reps of tough conversations with a coach that never gets tired, then plug the data back into your talent systems. If you're still treating communication skills as a slide deck and one awkward role play a year, you're behind where the money's going. Pretty clear signal, I think. AI first LMS platforms, your new RFP shortlist. Next, platforms Intellum, they run an AI-driven LMS plus the Evolve authoring tool, have published a piece on the top AI LMS platforms for 2026. Now, obviously it's marketing, but it's also a decent map of where AI is actually showing up inside learning platforms. Quick context, an AI LMS here means the platform doesn't just host SCORM, it uses AI to speed up content creation, personalize learning paths, and give you better analytics on who's actually learning what. Intellum cite Forrester research saying more than 99% of customer education leaders plan to use AI in the next 18 months. So this isn't a niche side project anymore. The list includes Intellum themselves with an AI creator agent claiming 70% faster content development, 360 learning leaning into collaborative and social learning with AI-assisted course building, Absorb, Docebo, Cypher, Sana Learn, Trainual, Talent, LMS, WorkRamp, all layering in AI for tagging, translation, recommendations, creation. For you, the bar has quietly moved. If your LMS vendor's AI roadmap is still a vague slide in a QBR, this article's a handy benchmark for the minimum feature set you should now expect. Give it a read. Levraguy and the 40% cheaper training claim. Let's stay with platforms, but talk cost. Levraguy, an AI native learning platform that sits on top of your existing LMS, have published an analysis on the ROI of AI learning. The headline, Gen AI cuts corporate training costs by up to 40%. What they actually do, you feed it policies, PDFs, SOPs, existing training content. Their Gen AI builds modular learning units, assessments, tailored paths automatically, then pushes them into your LMS. The value prop is fewer external vendors, much less manual storyboard and build work for your team, more reuse of what you've already got. They break down where the savings come from: automated first drafts instead of blank page authoring, AI-driven updates when policies change, and personalization, so you're not wasting time training people on stuff they already know. Now, the headline is up to 40% reduction. Even if you mentally halve that for marketing fluff, the direction is clear. L&D leaders are going to be asked to show how Gen AI is reducing both external spend and internal hours, not just making cool new content. That conversation is coming if it hasn't already. Open Sesame drops AI skill paths. Open Sesame, the big content aggregator for enterprise learning, have dropped their December update, and this one's pretty AI heavy. They're highlighting partnerships like the UK's Engineering Construction Industry Training Board, where 181 organisations have racked up 103,000 course completions through Open Sesame, saving an estimated £22,000 per company per year. That's around £3.5 million of value across the group. That's not experimental, that's scaled usage. On the AI front, they're pushing things like essential AI prompts and tools for today's smart L&D leader, top 5 AI skills every workforce needs now, and top 5 actions for L&D teams to succeed with AI by 2026. Very much aimed at turning we should do something on AI into an actual structured curriculum. Takeaway: if you're an L&D team without the capacity to build your own AI academy, Open Sesame and similar marketplaces are increasingly packaging AI literacy, safety, and basic use cases into ready-to-run paths. Might be worth a look. Tia, an AI agent that actually speaks L and D. Story 5, Tia. So Tia is an AI agent built specifically for L and D teams. It plugs into your existing systems, LMS, HRIS spreadsheets, and turns messy stakeholder requests into coherent learning journeys, capability maps, dashboards. You know the request, we need a leadership program yesterday. Tia is supposed to help you actually respond to that. They've been promoting a live demo where over 250 L&D professionals are already using it to analyze completion and assessment data, identify skill gaps by role, and auto-draft interventions and comms plans. The interesting bit isn't really the tech, it's the positioning. Tia is framed as a co-pilot for the L&D function rather than a generic chatbot. That's exactly where a lot of these agents are going. Deeply vertical, pre-trained on L&D workflows, judged on how well they reduce admin so humans can focus on stakeholder work and design. If your data's scattered and your team lives in spreadsheets, this category is going to hit your world pretty soon, I think. OpenAI Academy trains 1.2 million people in Australia. And next, scale. OpenAI has launched OpenAI for Australia, and the workforce development piece of this is huge. Through OpenAI Academy, their AI literacy training platform, they're partnering with Coles, Wesfarmers, and Commonwealth Bank to train over 1.2 million people. Specifically, Coles will roll out tailored AI skills programs to its 115,000 staff, supermarket floor to HQ. Wesfarmers will do the same for around 118,000 employees across retail, chemicals, energy. Commonwealth Bank will make AI training modules available to 1 million small business customers. The courses are co-designed with OpenAI, built around real Australian use cases, nationwide rollout starting 2026. It's one of the largest coordinated AI skills programs announced anywhere. For corporate L&D, this is the new benchmark your execs will see in the press. Why aren't we doing what Coles and CommBank are doing? And your answer cannot be, we published a Gen AI FAQ on the intranet. That's not going to cut it. Wall Street's AI academies over to finance. Business Insider just ran a deep dive into how banks like Morgan Stanley, Citi, and Capital One are upskilling tens of thousands of engineers for the AI era. Some numbers: Citi employs around 30,000 developers, Morgan Stanley about 15,000. Capital One another 15,000 engineers. Capital One has built internal AI academies, structured programs covering AI and ML foundations, modeling, research, and prototyping. New engineers don't need deep AI backgrounds because the academy brings them up to speed fast. Morgan Stanley mixes outsourced and in-house courses and focuses heavily on teaching developers how to talk to agents in natural language, not just write code, which is interesting. Citi ran something called TechFlix, short YouTube-style videos and challenges covering AI topics for their tech and business enablement teams. The pattern here, AI upskilling, is being treated like a core engineering capability with its own academies, content, learning, architecture. Watch a webinar when you have time is absolutely not the model. These are serious structured investments. IBM data, almost nobody is investing properly in AI skills. Now, a reality check. IBM Consulting has dropped new data on EMEA leaders, summarized by consultancy.uk. The headline, leaders are bullish on AI, but they're not investing in the humans. Key stats, across 3,500 executives in EMEA, 92% expect to hit their AI ROI goals in the next 2 years. 79% say they're already using or planning to use AI to speed up innovation. But, and here's the kicker, only about 1/3 of organizations are prioritizing AI upskilling as part of their AI programs. In the UK specifically, only 45% of enterprises currently offer company-wide or role-specific AI training. IBM's conclusion is pretty blunt. Lack of investment in workforce skills is likely stalling AI value, and companies are wildly overestimating how innovative they actually are. From an L&D perspective, that gap between ambition and skills is exactly the wedge you should be driving into. That's your opportunity, to be honest. McKinsey, AI upskilling is change management, not a course. McKinsey have weighed in with a new piece called Redefine AI Upskilling as a Change Imperative. It's written from a consulting angle, but it actually gives L&D a useful framing. They break AI upskilling into 3 layers. 1, AI literacy, shared baseline of language, risks, basic use. 2, AI adoption, embedding tools into real workflows, redesigning roles and incentives. 3, AI domain transformation, deep function-specific use cases that actually change how the business competes. Some numbers they reference. 78% of organizations in the latest McKinsey Global Survey say they use AI in at least one business function. 75% of US workers expect their roles to change due to AI in the next 5 years, but only 45% have had recent upskilling. Their point, and I think this is right, is that most companies overspend on literacy because it's visible, underinvest in adoption because it's messy, and barely touch domain transformation at all. If your AI learning plan is just prompt training plus a policy, you're stuck at level 1. And level 1 isn't going to move the needle. Gen Z and millennials are sprinting ahead on AI skills. Final story. On the learner side, Forbes has a new piece arguing that Gen Z and millennials are racing to upskill in AI based on fresh data from major online learning platforms and global workforce surveys. The gist, AI and data courses are among the fastest growing categories on big platforms for 18 to 44-year-olds. Younger workers report higher confidence using Gen AI at work and are more likely to see AI skills as a route to higher earnings and better roles. When you pair that with other recent research like PwC's, finding that only 14% of workers use Gen AI daily, despite 54% saying they've used AI in their job in the past year, you end up with a generational split. The people most hungry for AI learning are not necessarily the ones designing your L&D strategy. If your AI learning offer looks identical for a 24-year-old data analyst and a 55-year-old line manager, you're missing the point. Different audiences, different needs, different starting points. The pattern across all 10 stories. So across these 10 stories, you can see the shape of AI in L and D right now. Capital is flowing into experiential AI practice tools like Yoodli, not just content libraries. Platform vendors are competing to be the AI-first LMS layer with assistance, analytics, and auto-authoring baked in. Vendors like Levraguy and Open Sesame are under pressure to show hard ROI and concrete AI skill paths, not vague transformation talk. Specialist agents like Tia are emerging to automate L&D's internal work, not replace it. At country scale, OpenAI Academy in Australia is setting a bar for nationwide corporate AI literacy. Regulated industries like banking are quietly building serious AI academies for engineers. Data from IBM and McKinsey is clear. Leaders talk a big AI game while underfunding workforce skills. And the workforce, especially Gen Z and millennials, is racing ahead on AI anyway, with or without you. And here's the thing, if your organization doesn't yet have a boring spreadsheet level answer to 3 questions, who needs which AI skills, on what platforms, to change which workflows, then you don't have an AI learning strategy. You have an AI narrative, and narratives don't change behavior. That's it for this episode of AI in L&D Weekly. Go audit one thing this week. Find a place where your AI story isn't backed by any actual learning and fix that first. Good luck out there.